How are you? My name's Dr. Anderson. Good to meet you. How you feeling?
Want your child to get the best medical care but wonder how to find the right doctor? Does the staff matter? And how can you tell the practice will grow with your family? Finding the right doctor is even more important than you might think. The average parent and baby visits the doctor's office 11 times in the first year. But relax. I'm Teresa Roncon. Join me as we live and learn that with a little homework and a little legwork, you'll find a doctor that's right for you. You can take your child to either a pediatrician who specializes in children or a general practitioner who can treat your whole family. Dr. Michael Anderson is a professor who teaches other doctors how to take care of kids. A pediatrician and father himself, he knows what parents should be looking for in a doctor.
I think there's some basic qualifications you want in your pediatrician. The first is what's called board certification. A board certified pediatrician in America means they've passed the American Board of Pediatrics exam. That means they've gone to medical school for 4 years, they've done a residency which is at least 3 years, they've done all the requisite continuing medical education, and they've passed a rigorous, really long 2-day test. That means that they're now qualified to be a board certified pediatrician.
Either way, you need to make a decision well before delivery. Start by getting references from people you know. Word of mouth is very important. If you're new to town, try calling the local medical school. How can you make sure that you're getting a good doctor, someone who's suited for you?
Each state is really different on what sort of checks you can do, what sort of organization you can call to see. Has the doctor had complaints? Has the doctor had some issues with the medical board? At the very minimum, you can call the state medical board and see if there's been any complaints lodged against them. That's sort of in the negative vein.
Hey guys. Once you narrow your choices down to about 3 practices, ask for an interview.
How you doing? It's nice to meet you.
These meet and greets will give you a chance to assess the doctor and staff. Remember, you will interact a lot with the staff and nurses, so make sure they're a good fit too.
And that's why I encourage families and friends, go visit the practice before the child's born, before you commit to going to that practice. Sort of get the feel, what's the style of that doc? Is your child very, very comfortable? Do they walk in, establish rapport away, or are they a little bit more strict, a little bit more rigid, if you will, then your kid would probably not respond to that. So just the feel of how do you interact, or how does that pediatrician interact with your child?
Yeah, we'll check them out.
And see how you feel about the other doctors, because your child may not always be able to see their doctor.
It's sort of on your checklist of questions to ask your pediatrician, like, okay, I call after 5 o'clock, do I get you? Do I get a national service? Who's gonna answer my phone? The second thing is after hours. Families are very, very busy. There's a lot of double working, mom and dad both working. Do you have late hours, open till 9 o'clock? Do you have weekend hours? Are there urgent care centers that you run that our kids can go to if it's not that convenient 8 to 5, Monday through Friday? So once again, I think real important questions you wanna ask before you commit to going to that pediatric service.
You'll also want to consider the location itself. Is it close to home? Does it have parking? Some practices like the University Health Center have very kid-friendly waiting rooms like this one, complete with a rainforest. Dr. Anderson, look at this waiting room. I mean, clearly pediatrics is changing. What can consumers expect? I mean, here we are in the middle of the rainforest.
Can you believe it? It's just a fantastic and a beautiful practice. And I think what you're seeing is pediatrics in this country is really a competitive market now. Pediatricians want their practice to stand out and to really wow consumers, if you will, when they first step in the door. So look at the great surroundings here. It's also the services that pediatric practices offer now. Do they have a great upfront staff? Do they have wonderful nurses and nurse practitioners? There's actually even concierge services now that people are offering. Pharmacies right in the practice, so you don't have to go to the pharmacy afterwards. I've seen pediatric offices now that have parenting classes in these wonderful classrooms you can take continuing parent education, if you will, in nighttime seminars, classes for parents.
You'll also want to know if they have special areas for sicker patients and if there's an area for older kids. Let's face it, a tween doesn't want to sit next to a 4-year-old.
As the child ages a little bit, is it important that your girl has a female pediatrician? I think that's sort of important as kids enter adolescence, that those private issues that girls may just want to share with a female pediatrician. Then you want to look for a practice that potentially has both young men and young women.
Some final questions to ask. Does the doctor seem to know about the latest medical advances? Does the doctor welcome questions? And does the doctor take time to discuss problems and listen to parents' concerns? What if you don't like the doctor you pick?
Look around and find a new doc, and pediatricians and physicians in general understand that. We want you to be comfortable and feel happy. And the last thing you want a family to go to is go for 2, 4, 6 years and be miserable in that relationship. if you want to find a new doc, doctors understand that. There's no big deal.
Now you're ready to find a pediatrician you're comfortable with. Choose well, pick the right doctor, and you might find someone that will treat your child all the way from that first cold to a pre-college physical. And that's peace of mind for the whole family.